Welcome to the Art of Rebounding, where setbacks become setups and your bounce back is your breakthrough. I'm your host, Harold Lefty Williams, former pro athlete, motivator, and believer in second chances. Each week, we'll dive deep into stories and strategies built on positioning, persistence, and purpose to help you rise, rebuild, and reclaim your next chapter. This isn't just a podcast. It's your permission to rise again, and this time with purpose. Today's guests, we have National AAU Champion, USA gold medalist in the Junior Olympics, graduated from Stanford University. Stand up. Come on now. Come on now. Drafted by the WNBA and FIBA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Carolyn Moos-Hardin.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited about this interview. First of all, the Art of Rebounding is about persistence. It's about purpose. It's about positioning. It's about bouncing back, right?
Yep.
A lot of people say, man, Lefty, you're doing a show about the Art of Rebounding. Is it about basketball? Yeah, we'll talk sports. But I want to talk to people who really had to persevere and push to be able to be a success. You know, we're part of the 1%. Very few people get a chance to do what we do, right? What we were able to overcome.
Absolutely.
So take us from the beginning. How was it for you? It had to have been difficult for you first to make the AAU team and then be AAU champion. What was that process like?
Absolutely. I always share with people that I started late in the game. I started picking up a basketball in 6th grade. So essentially I had 2 years to prepare for that national winning team. And I spent 6 to 7 hours, honestly, every day in that summer in the gym, putting in extra work. You said perseverance. You said consistency and repetition. I was that kid. I was putting in extra work in the weight room, nutrition, getting stronger, bigger, faster. I developed a three-point shot at 6'5" by 8th grade. So I was playing a 2, 3, 4, or a 5 by the time I was an 8th grader, so I could play any position on the basketball court. And that was kind of the breakthrough of versatility in my era, because prior to that, a lot of 6'5", 6'6" players, they stuck on the block. So for me, it was a 2-year preparation to allow me to have that national experience and then skyrocket after that. Obviously, exposure to USA basketball, traveling the world by the time I was a sophomore in high school. So it was really dedication, but it was really driven by passion. You alluded to that. You have to love what you do. I couldn't wait to get to the gym. I couldn't wait to put in the work. My parents had to drag me away, so it's love. And when I work with kids to this day, boys and girls, I always tell them, if you love what you do, you're going to be successful if you put in the work. And so it starts with passion. No,
that's good. So now you become AAU champion. Did you have a plethora of schools, or has it always been in your mind, I'm going to Stanford?
Great question. So after that experience, because there is so much exposure, WBCA camps came about, a plethora of schools from Tennessee to UConn, all excellent programs, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt. Really, for me, I was looking at the holistic approach of academics and athletics and the culture. For me, Stanford's very creative. It's very innovative. It's a little bit forward-thinking. When you go to the classes, I went for my visit there. I just felt at home. When I went there, I said, I can't imagine going anywhere else at this time for me. But there's so many great options out there. So I was just very fortunate and worked hard to obtain a scholarship to play at Stanford.
So when you finished with Stanford, did you feel like that the WNBA it's here, this is my moment, or did you feel like maybe there's a bit of a setback, I'm not sure, maybe it could happen, or maybe I'm just going to go ahead overseas, or because I know that was my one of my plays, I had to go overseas. But was it that, or did you say I think there's a clear path here?
I appreciate that. So playing professionally was fairly prevalent when I was a freshman in high school. So I knew in the back of my mind, if I can get paid to play, to do something I love, and to do it for as long as possible that makes sense, I'm doing it. I have a pretty type A personality, so I would go to coaches and say, what do I need to do to get better? No matter where you are, you can always get better. So the mindset of lack of complacency is really important for kids, and I was that kid. I was never happy with my game. Great, I developed a three-point shot. What's next? What do I need to left hand? Great. Hook shot. Great. Got it.
Let's park there. Let's park there. I don't mean to interrupt you, because someone's watching, someone's listening, and they're saying, man, I want to get better. But I think they I don't want them to miss that piece. You never were satisfied.
No.
Okay, I developed this. Now I can step out. I can knock down the three. What's next?
Yes.
I already know I can rebound. What's next?
Yep.
Can I put the ball on the floor? Okay, what's next? So what would you say to someone who is trying their hardest to reposition themselves, whether it be in the corporate world whether it be in the sports world, whether it be just trying to, and just a normal life. They're just like, man, you know what? I feel like I'm hitting a ceiling right now, and I just need some remodeling so I can have room to stretch and room to grow. What would you tell that boy, that girl, that man, that woman, what would be your advice to them for them to be able to rebound?
Absolutely. So a couple of things. Constructive criticism is your best friend. I think a lot of people and humans have a difficult time initially accepting feedback. And the best people in the world accept feedback no matter what level they're perceived to be at that time. If you think you're the best in the world, there's always someone trying to steal your spot. So if you're never complacent, you receive feedback, you're in a growth mindset. So my advice is be in a growth mindset. No matter where you are in your life, you can always grow. And if you do that, you're going to continue to move in an upward direction. If you become complacent, you're going to be stagnant. So receive feedback, even if you don't agree with it initially, and that does happen. And I'm sure you've had a few coaches who are like,
absolutely,
you can't play a point guard, or you can't play. I'm like,
I was a point forward, so trust me, I get it.
Yes, but you take that information, you say, okay, what can I do with this information to become a better version of myself? And in that, you will always grow and get better. That's my first bit of advice. The second is everyone has challenges. Everyone has supposed failures or setbacks. Bounce back. Get back to work the next day. You're going to lose a few games. You're going to maybe not play the best on a given night. But you know what? We need to get ready for tomorrow because the sun is rising and we have things to get done. So the mindset of just constant persistence, perseverance, resilience, hard work ethic, and never be complacent. I can always get better.
What I always say, that's good too. What I always say is, you can bounce back from any force of impact. Right? And I always say, you have to block out. You have to be like the horse at the track race. You got to have those blinders on. You can only run your race. You can only run your lane. You can only do what it is that you feel called to do. Or I'm not going to go in the weight room and look at what someone else can lift. I'm only going to lift what I can lift. You know what I mean? You know. So that's really good. So now, let's switch lanes a little bit, and let's talk about. I like to have a thing called who's your Avengers, right? Who's your Navy SEALs when it comes to your five. We won't say just the five. We'll add a sixth person, but that sixth person could really be in the starting lineup. Really, they really,
You always have to have the alternate.
Yeah. So who's your Avengers? You need to get it done, male or female, all female, totally up to you. Who are you rolling with?
You know what's interesting? I was going to ask you if I could do old school and new school.
Totally. Hey, listen. This is your squad. This is your squad. The floor is yours.
At one point, I heard there was going to be a co-ed league, so I'm going to go co-ed in the situation.
Okay.
At point, I'm going to take Paige. I'm from Minnesota. Represent. She's playing quite well. I need someone who can penetrate and pitch, but also finish from the outside, create things for other players. I would love to play with her, so I'll start with Paige at the point. Caitlin in there would be nice just because we need a spot shooter to pull people off the defense from the post. Down low, if it was male and female, I'm going to go with old school, something classic like a Tim Duncan. Very, very fundamentally sound, doesn't make mistakes, is very even-keeled mentally, so you have somebody that's almost like a glue on the team, and they're very reliable. I think that's really important at that position is someone that can execute. And I also like players old school like a Lisa Leslie or a Candace Parker. I think that a versatile big who can play a 2, 3, 4, or 5 is going to offset those guards that are more spot shooters or penetrate and pitch. So I would go with those players initially. I'd play with them, of course.
So you don't need a six. You don't need a 6-man.
We'd have an alternate. I'll give some thought to that. Steph Curry.
Listen, you can't go wrong with that.
He's Caitlin and him are interchangeable.
No, absolutely. You can't go. I like that squad. So listen, we got a little bit of time left, and take me through who were some of your most inspirational people in your life that kept you on the path to help you to be who you became today.
Absolutely. So it's interesting when you look in different contexts in life. And when I was in 6 foot, I was 6 feet tall. and a wonderful science teacher. She was 6'5", her boyfriend was 6'8". They came into my life not only tall, but most importantly, they taught me about academics and athletics. They introduced me to basketball. And at that time, you know, I was just doing my thing as I rode horses, I played tennis, I swam, track, cross country. I did all these different sports, but they introduced me to the game. And they said, you know, you're tall now, you might feel a little different than most, but this game is going to help you feel like you have a second home, a home away from home. And it really allowed me to find myself at a pivotal time where I think 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, people are trying to figure out where do I fit in. But I didn't have a personality where I needed to fit in, but it did give me a sense of an additional motivation of, yes, I am different, and this is what I was born to do. So I always tell kids, don't have a sport justify who you are, but be an extension of that which you already know you are to be.
That's good.
And that's important because you might feel pressure from parents. You might feel pressure because I'm 6 feet tall or I'm going to be 6'5". I have to play basketball. For me, it was just I finally feel at home, and I have a family on the basketball court. So I'd start there with my teachers, and then from there, of course, my Stanford basketball coach, Tara Vanderveer, she has an incredible track record. Going to work and play for her it felt like home because she has very high standards. And if you're not quite at the highest standard she thinks your potential, she's going to push you every single moment of every day to reach your full potential. And I love that. Some people don't thrive off of that constant push, push, push.
Yep.
I do. I expect it. I want it. I thrive. And I crave that kind of push. So she's definitely another one. WNBA, I had Ron Rothstein and the Miami. He's great, very intense. I had some great USA basketball coaches. And then, of course, my family. I have an older brother. He has a PhD in childhood psychology development.
Wow.
He's really, really brilliant. He was a great athlete, but he always pushed me. He took me to the weight room. He always said, you know, you're not strong enough yet. He was like that good, challenging voice. And he played football and hockey, so if you can imagine us playing one-on-one in the backyard, he had a lot of fouls that he never called. So he's amazing, and I'm so grateful to have him as a brother and sibling. And then my parents, you know, they just kept me grounded. They said, focus on academics first. You know, basketball will be there, but straight A's, AP classes, they really pushed me in the academic space and then allowed me those other opportunities.
Now, that's pretty cool. So now, you come all the way full circle, and now today, the business. Who's the business woman now? Tell us the business side of you today.
Absolutely. So I actually founded my own company in 2001. I was playing professional basketball, and a fitness, nutrition, yoga type concept came into my awareness and passion. And I developed pre-recorded content to sit when Skype first came out, and people weren't using Skype necessarily for virtual fitness training. And I started to leverage that platform because I was playing overseas in France, and I moved to Miami. I went back to LA, and I had clients everywhere I was going, but they weren't physically traveling with me, so I needed a solution for that. So I began to leverage service-based business, turn it into a product, which is pre-recorded content, and make it replicable and scalable. So from that, great. I did that. It's self-operating now. And then I've worked as an athletic director. I've managed over 55 personal trainers, been very successful in the fitness, health, and wellness space. I live what I promote. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I eat super clean. I work out 6 mornings a week. So I live and breathe the lifestyle of being at your best when it comes to your health. And I work with pregnant mothers. I work with type 2 diabetics, obese patients, pro athletes, all kinds of demographics.
Wow. I mean, you're killing it, you know. I mean, but that's to be expected. Once you become, you know, successful at a very young age, it just follows you. And then it seems like success just kept following you and following you and following you and following you. And now your 5th quarter seems to be just as great as the beginning. I'm excited about that. So now, looking at the state of the W today, where do you see? Are you surprised where it is from when you played, and what are the hopes for where you'd like it to be in the next 5 years?
I appreciate that. I think for me, I'm a visionary, so I'm never surprised, but I always have expectations. As a 7th grader, 8th grader, I expected to see where it is today. And that's not naive optimism. That's actually true visualization of what's feasible with the right support system. So right now, obviously, we have the support of the NBA. Great. We have support of sponsors. I think it comes down to increased ticket sales, increased diversification of demographics as far as awareness. Now we see young boys running up to us for autographs. I still get stopped. I'll be at an NBA game and they're like, "Where'd you play?" And these little 10-year-old boys are like running up for autographs. So I think the more that traction continues to build and it becomes more and more popular with families and kids and parents, you'll just see it continue to grow. So for me, I'm excited in the next 5 years to see NIL grow, players to still stay humble, complacent. I think it's essential that players keep doing community outreach programs, keep doing youth clinics, keep giving themselves to the community, not just assuming they're going to receive. The more you give, the more we're naturally going to get back. And I think pro athletes need to really embrace that philosophy.
No, that's great. So we see the game growing. We see the game growing. We see the game growing. What advice would you give to the current ladies now to how they can kind of leave the game where they found it, so to speak?
Absolutely. I think the biggest potential downslide would be lack of humbleness. So it's really important for young student athletes to go in and keep the work ethic and also, again, remain approachable. I think oftentimes, maybe you lost your game and you have 20 kids waiting outside for an autograph and you're rushing to the locker room. Stop, shake some hands, smile, and just give yourself to the community. I go back to that because my advice is that in the increase of media, the increase of social media exposure, I think the tendency to be hidden behind the scenes versus in the scenes is dangerous. So my advice is to be kind, genuine, accessible, and connected to the communities that are giving so much back to us.
No, that's good. So who are some of your favorite teammates that you've played with in your career?
Great question. So we have teammates and then people we played against because I love good competition.
Well, that too. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
So for me, it was really fun. My Stanford coach set up the Olympic team to play our team, to play Stanford. So we ended up playing the best players in the world.
Oh, wow.
And when I played for Junior USA basketball, we had the senior team practice right before us. So, I finally got a chance to play against Lisa Leslie and Dawn Staley, that whole Tina Thompson, Cooper. That was a great group. So that was the best fun matchup, in my opinion, was playing on the Stanford court with the Olympic team in our home court. It was great. At Stanford, I had wonderful teammates from Lindsay Yamasaki, Milena Flores, obviously highly intelligent being at Stanford, and just being able to grow with that team. Professionally, I was drafted to Phoenix. I was actually coached by Cooper at that time, and then overseas, we had an incredible competitive place in France, and then Miami being coached by Ron Rothstein. He coached in the NBA for a number of years. Very intense individual. If you win, he's smiling, it's all jokes, but if you're not winning, it's go time, which I expect and I love. So,
oh yeah.
So I've had, Ruth Riley was a great teammate in Miami. Sandy Brondello, just these great people that are still impacting the game in a lot of ways.
Who do you have this year? Who do you like, winning it all this year?
In the WNBA?
In the W, yeah.
That's a great question. It's too early, and the reason I say that every season is it does come down to staying healthy.
Yep. Healthy and chemistry.
Yes. Let's say, and this is rare, but if you lost your 3 to 4 starters, do you have the backup players in the depth? So for me, I'm going to answer this by saying, what is the deepest team at this point? But if you ask me further into the season, then I could give you a definitive answer because I know certain players will stay healthy. If we only had a month left, I could say, okay, I know they have wheels. I know they're probably not going to get injured. This team is going to win. But we're a little early in the season to make that definitive statement.
So who would you say is the deepest, you'd say, looking at?
I honestly have gone to some games, but not enough to really answer that question. But I think some players who have taken their team on their back, but still contribute, and other players contribute, that's going to be key. I like watching Dallas this year. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think I'll know in about a month or two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So as we come to a close, is there anything else that you would like the audience to know about, business, sports, or any advice that you want to give?
Absolutely. So a few things is take care of yourself. My passion is fitness, health, wellness. And the more you take care of your health, the more you have to give to others, and do what you do at your best. So for me, my sleep patterns, not drinking, eating clean, it set me up for so much success. And I see great athletes hit a wall because they haven't taken care of themselves mentally, physically, spiritually. Pour into those buckets, because as much as you have high expectations, if you don't have the core of who you are and you take care of your well-being, you're not going to be able to be present in all that you do. And the second is about setbacks and comebacks, the resilience factor. If you have a little bit of adversity, take that as a gift. And what did I learn from this experience, and how can I be stronger as a result of that experience? And just keep persevering through. Again, my website, I didn't share that. That's fitforlivinglife.com. If you Google Carolyn Moos, M-O-O-S, it does populate as well.
Good. And listen, we definitely want each of you to take the opportunity to check out what she has going on. You want to surround yourself with positive people, great people who are doing great things. All she knows how to do is win. That is her space, winning. You know what I mean? So just remember this. All it takes is 3 Ds. One day, one door, one decision that will change your life, okay? I'm super excited again. Thank you so much for being on a guest on the show. I'm excited for the success and all the things that you're doing, and I'm looking forward to having you back.
Absolutely.
All right? I got to have you back.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it for today's episode of The Art of Rebounding. The fall isn't what defines you. It's how you rise that writes your legacy. Whether you're rebuilding from a loss, recentering your purpose, or just learning how to stand again. Know this, you're not alone. No, you're not alone. You were made for more. You were built to bounce back. Until next time, keep showing up, keep positioning yourself, keep pushing yourself, because your rebound, it's not just coming, it's already in motion. Find me on social media on all platforms, Lefty Williams 42. I'm always down to hear about your comebacks, your setbacks. I want to hear all those things. Thank you to Circa Resort and Casino and VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Till next time, always remember, dare to dream.